Hello, every pony. Again! For the second time today. So, now we have the epilogue thing, the very last piece of On Across an Arrow, entitled A Whisper of Wind. Ooh. Alright. There was a whisper of wind. The serene and empty road into Ponyville laid bare. Only a couple of birds resting in the trees bearing witness to the sudden scene that unfolded. A maelstrom suddenly erupted, as if torn from sheets of a mighty hurricane itself. Dust flew into the air, and the setting sun's brightness suddenly became a backlighting, as from the sky a pillar of purest white suddenly descended. It hit the earth with a muffled thunderclap. A final rush of wind shook the trees and scattered loose pebbles and leaves, as the impact blasted a wave of air outwards. It was certainly enough to send the birds flying. Just as quickly as it all started, the noise ceased. A cloud of debris continued to float around the site. After a minute of silence, another sound cut through the quiet, that of a small pony, coughing. Mr. Presto? Mr. Great Powerful Presto, you there? There were more sounds of scuffling and small clop steps, as the young pony tried to wave away the cloud of dirt. Gradually his form came into view as the dust began to settle. Though a fair amount of the dirt clung to his yellow hide, the young colt's orange eyes remained undeterred, even when he took off his baseball cap and waved at the clouds some more. Mr. Presto, where'd you go? He questioned, obviously looking for some pony. But once he deduced that he was actually alone on the road, he began taking in his surroundings once more. It don't look like I moved any. Did Mr. Presto get moved instead? I mean, he's supposed to be the second best unicorn in Equestria. I would think he wouldn't be able to get it wrong. When it became obvious that he'd get no answers from an empty patch of road, the young boy pony finally turned himself towards the small village in the distance. He set his eyes in determination and placed his hat back on his head, before rearing up onto his hind legs. If it did work, maybe I actually made it. But I won't know for sure till I find out. So here we go. And with that, Applebuck began galloping towards Ponyville, yelling at the top of his lungs. JJ! Cousin JJ, I'm coming! Wait for me, Cousin JJ! By the time he made it into the town proper, and began encountering ponies, he was simultaneously heartened and unnerved to learn that he had indeed landed in the right destination. The earth pony's eyes were wide as he spotted familiar faces, ones that were soft where they were once strong before, and vice versa. He did a double take as a pony he knew as Lemon Hooves in his world walked past him, and then yet another as Pokey Pop strolled through his path. The former was now a filly, and the latter now a stallion. All the colts were mares now, and all the mares were colts. He shook his head as he tried to think. I need to find Cousin JJ. Even if she's not really my cousin, I still want to find her. She's not Red Gala, and she's sure not Applejack. She's the big sis I never had, and I want to be with her. A young colt in a mare's land, Applebuck nevertheless steeled himself. He pointed himself towards the marketplace, a clear vision of Sweetapple Acres' fruit stand in mind. He would have reached there unimpeded as well, if only he hadn't given himself tunnel vision and accidentally run into some pony. Crap, think fast. Oh right, I'm not good at that. Insert sudden shocked noise here. Came the voice, as he felt his forehoof land on something that wasn't ground. Oh! He yelped, jumping back a step. I'm sorry, are y'all right? Harpsy and Barbar were both giving him a curious look. The cream-coated pony in particular rubbing at a hoof. At least they looked like Harpsy and Barbar, but their shorter stature, rounded curves, and delicate snouts unequivocally marked them as mares instead of stallions. Oh, it's okay, dear, the not Barbar soothed, a patient look on her face. Though you really should keep a better eye on where you're going. A little preoccupied, are we? The female Harpsy spoke up, giving the colt a smile. Say, I don't think I've seen you around before, actually. Are you new here? Yeah, I am, the red-maned pony bashfully replied. I just got into Ponyville today, you know. Real sorry about the tripping up. I was just... Both fillies chuckled. The mint unicorn spoke again. Well then, welcome to Ponyville. I'm Lyra, and the one you nearly tripped up there is Bon Bon. If you're lost, we can give you the grand tour of the town if you'd like." Applebuck worked his jaw a few times before managing a reply. Well, thank you kindly, but I'm just looking for my cousin JJ. She lives here in Ponyville, and I wanted to visit." The mares blinked before looking at each other. "JJ? I don't know any JJ," Bon Bon hummed. "Can you think of anybody named that, Lyra?" "No one comes to mind. Then again, it's not like we know every pony in Ponyville. That's Pinky's job. I bet if we asked her—" I'm sorry," the yellow colt interrupted, his cheeks slightly red from embarrassment. That's not what I call her. That's just what I call her. Her actual name is, Applejack." It felt odd to say the name out loud and not be referring to his elder brother at the same time. Thankfully, the two faces lit up in recognition. "Oh, Applejack!" the musician exclaimed. "I should have guessed, with your accent and all. I'm afraid you just missed her." The curly-haired equine nodded as well. "She was packing up the stall in the marketplace when we last saw her, a minute or so ago. If you know where the acres are, you could catch up with her." At this, Little Pony cheered. "Yee-haw! That's all I wanted to know. Thank you, Miss Lyra. Thank you, too, Miss Bon Bon." They waved farewell to him as he galloped quickly off in another direction, angling himself towards the apple farm. Once he was out of sight, the candy-maker put a hoof to her mouth, humming in contemplation. "That colt, he kind of reminds me of a certain other pony, don't you think?" Now that you mention it, yeah, he kind of does. How exactly, though? I'm not sure. Can't really put my finger on it." "Hon, don't you mean hoof?" Applebuck ran pell-mell over hill after hill, his destination firmly in mind. As he finally crested one last grassy knoll, his eyes lit up in excitement at the sight before him. Sweet Apple Acres, home, sweet home. Or in this case, home away from home. He didn't really have a plan when he had first set out. He'd only learned the basics, that the agents were really doubles of the 6 most well-known ponies in Ponyville, that Cousin JJ was in fact Applejack, a female Applejack, and that it was a spell that had brought them to his world, and had also taken them back. Finding the spell in question had been easy. A few well-placed questions directed at spines had gotten him the info he needed. Finding another unicorn that wasn't dusk, but just as strong as him, to pull off the spell had been trickier, but doable. And now that he was here, he found himself hesitating for a second. Now that I'm here, once I go in there, once I find my cousin, then what? Will she be happy to see me, or will she be upset? I don't want her mad at me. I want to be family with her. I want to sit down at the table and have dinner, and then play some card games, and then go to bed and have a story. I want to know what it's like to have somebody like her as my cousin, and as my sister. Cousin JJ, the young pony whispered to himself, eyes still turned on the farm before him. Can y'all give me one more chance? The silence stretched into a long minute. At last the cap-bearing colt finally placed a hoof forward, setting himself into motion, when a buzz began to echo through the air. He froze and let his eyes dart around, easily recognizing the sound. "Scooterroll?" he called out, his mind awash in possibilities. Did the rest of the Crusaders follow him after? Follow after him? Was Scooterroll and Silver currently barreling down on his position? Or... Wait. That was something else he hadn't thought about. For every pony that was a mare back home, there was a colt here instead. And for every boy that was back home... He barely dodged out of the way as a scooter and wagon suddenly crashed over the hill's edge. Panicked screams were had all around as the Crusader-mobile careened and screeched to a stop, Applebuck tumbling head over hooves as he landed a short distance away, pride bruised but otherwise uninjured. "Scootaloo!" came a soft, squeaky voice, which did not sound like at all. "You really shouldn't go so fast all the time. You almost hit some pony." I know, I'm sorry," came another voice, somewhat tomboyish, panicked in tone. They called out to him. "Oh, hey, man, are you all right?" Yeah, I'm okay," the school pony groaned, rubbing the dirt from his eyes. He felt the presence step up next to him before feeling a hoof upon his own. He accepted the help as he was brought back up to a sitting position, taking the time to bring both forelimbs to his eyes, cleaning them out. "Golly," said a high-pitched southern twang from the pony who had assisted him. "Y'all sure? You took a real tumble back there." Applebuck blinked. While his vision slowly cleared up, he felt the world come screeching to a complete halt, as the last thing he'd ever expected came into focus. Standing before him was another yellow earth pony. Her red mane was held back in a sizable pink bow and a ponytail, and her large orange eyes were adorned with obvious lashes. Awful sorry about that. Skillo can be kind of rash sometimes, she continued, looking behind her to give the orange Pegasus a glare. She then quickly turned back. But, if you're alright, then howdy. I ain't never seen you around before, she greeted, eyeing him with a welcoming sparkle. The young capped colt continued staring at the sight before him, being face to face with something that he was in no way in the least in his entire short-sighted escapade prepared for. It's me. Oh, A.J. Red Gala Grampy Smith, help me, it's me! The bow-wearing filly gave him a smile before holding out a hoof towards him in friendship. My name's Applebloom. What's yours? The end. Dun, dun, dun. But yes, that, fortunately for some, unfortunately for others, is the end of the story. The completion, the final chapter of Unacross an Arrow. It is complete. We've done it. It's everything. It has been quite a journey, and I'm happy to have had all of you along for the ride. I don't know why I'm being so dramatic. Anyway, so, as I say occasionally, but probably not often enough, I want to thank all of you for listening, commenting, requesting, subscribing, messaging, for spreading the word about the channel to others. You were all fantastic. And if it weren't for all of you, this channel probably would have died out soon after my free time started drying up with work responsibilities. But I have, as best I could, struggled against that and found time here and there as available to keep updating and keep recording and posting and keep rekindling the desire to keep this channel going and keep doing interesting things for your entertainment. Because that's what this channel is all about. Doing things for you guys. And girls. Sorry, no offense. That's what I'm about here. That's what I want to do, is keep all of you entertained and keep you all coming back and keep you all wanting new things and requesting new things. So, with this story completed, we're going to do two things. First, I'm going to take some time to go through our list of one-shot and flash fictions and get some of those recorded and uploaded for everybody, every pony. And also get ready to start working on the next major story. It's still kind of on the fence as to whether or not the story project I want to do is going to become a reality. There have been a few people interested. The main limitation right now is just we don't quite have enough female voices for all the female characters necessary, especially in the first couple chapters. So, if you want to do the main six, then audition. You know, track down the video. Was pretty recent, and you know, do an audition, send it in. There's plenty of openings available, and if you think your friends are interested, tell them. If there's like some obscure message board you're a member of, mention it on there. And hopefully we can do fun things and do some project work together, and we can all hang out and chat and get to know each other, and you can all be my friends and I can be your friend, and we'll all hang out all the time and like go get ice cream and go to the movies and things like that. So, yes. Anyway, so I want to thank all of you for listening and all of you for sticking in there for the long ride it has been to reach the end of this story, but here we are. So, until next time.